I think we are live. Starting my stream here a little bit early because I saw my model just as I was getting ready to get started for the day, and I hit it. Today is day 14 of my challenge, my trading challenge, 90 days to my first pay. And so I always get a little hesitant when I first sit down and I'm going into the charts, and I'd kind of gotten halfway, maybe 3/4 way through my analysis. And I look and I'm like, I bet you this is at a level where I'm willing to do business. And sure enough, I went to the 1 minute chart and I saw an inversion and I saw a 30-second breaker, and it lined up. It was in my macro. So I took it. What do we got? 15 minutes till market open. And one of the things I've been seeing lately is a couple of different patterns, but one, and I keep describing them when I'm streaming, but one of the patterns is I've been noticing that the 850 macro produces my model, and then the 930 just rips one-sided. It's done it 2 or 3 times in the last week or two, and so it's kind of had me looking a little bit more at the 850 to 910 macro, and being willing to enter before 930, because usually I don't enter before 930, but lately I've been seeing that, so try to capitalize on that. Now it very well may stop me out too, but it fit with my bias. It was at a level I wanted to do business. Confirmation was there, so I took it. By and large, I think, let's take a look here around other charts, because I didn't get tons of time pre-market to do any analysis. But basically, you know, the only concern I have is there's this tailless candle on the 4-hour chart. So it's possible that this fair value gap gets balanced through all the way, comes down for this tailless candle, and then possibly continues higher. I'm noting these equal highs. Previous day high right above is a target. And I'll mark that up here real quick. I referenced a little later on. But it still could leave them, but we have bullish SMTs. We're in a bullish order flow, and yeah, I can't predict the future, but I try. So here on the 1 hour, this fair value gap was balanced. This candlestick here took the liquidity on this side over here, and I'm looking at this consequent encroachment of this 1 hour rejection block for support. Noting, I just noticed now at the moment we do have an imbalance forming right here. So I'm going to that marked. But I wanted to get my recording going because one of my rules for myself is I'm supposed to record my trades. So here on the 15-minute, we tapped into the new day opening gap right there. Left this breakaway gap down here. I don't think it'll come back down for that, but I certainly don't know for certain. And this trend line liquidity on the 15. So I'm assuming, you know, internal to external liquidity more so. Didn't take the external liquidity. There's a little bit of an internal liquidity sweep and then an external liquidity sweep. And I imagine that since it's 9:19, you can see prices just in a consolidation. And that's to be anticipated before 9:30. So the two things it typically does is I've been noticing if it makes the model at the 850 macro, it'll either just keep kind of ripping and grinding, and it won't even give a consolidation phase, or it'll give a little bit of a consolidation phase, take some minor liquidity, and then keep going. So I'll find out pretty quickly if I'm on sides or off sides, because if I'm off sides, it's going to probably trade up first and then trade down for my stop loss. So for 9:30 here, I'm anticipating you know, you can see we're accumulating, we're generating liquidity on both sides. So the 930 is going to either trade up and take some of this liquidity and then trade down, right? That's one possible scenario. Or going to take the liquidity down here and then run up. Either way, one thing I do want to look at is let's check out some of the other indices. Let's check out ES, let's check out YM, see what they're doing. And yeah. So even within this here, see if we have anything of interest. We have no SMT there. Kind of an SMT here, but it's kind of ugly. YM is doing a little bit different than ES and NQ. I don't like that. I want to see them in sync. So there's that, but there is a large bullish SMT. We have the lunch low with YM. We have the New York PM low with YM SMT down in here. So yeah, it's just going to consolidate for probably the next 8 minutes would be my guess. And I'll find out here a lot more in about 8 minutes, 9 minutes. Oh, these are on the 2-minute charts. Back to the one. Not much different though. A little bit of a consecutive candle SMT forming, but that's probably not confirmed. Let's see here. Yeah, it wouldn't be confirmed until that's the 9:15 candle. Wouldn't be confirmed until 9. But I like how it's generating some of this buy side liquidity up here. And oh, what's going on? Good morning, friend. How are you, Chris Postal? My brother, I saw you already in and out. Nice work, man. You're making me feel like I should get up earlier. You know, not tons earlier even, because what'd you hit, an 8 o'clock trade? Yeah, you entered on the 748 candle. Beauty, beauty, beauty. So yeah, just waiting, dude. I saw my model, like just sitting down on my chart. I hit it, and little early, but okay. I've been noticing lately that the 850 macro has been producing the model, and then it typically runs. Well, not typically, but several times it's just ran and not really given a 930 entry. So kind of one of the patterns I've been noticing. Which in your case, if that's funded, or is that an eval, but maybe you're already done for the day. So I would prefer more of a sweep down in here. I don't like that it's taking this liquidity first. That to me is signaling possibly that I'm off sides. But we'll see. I'm in the trade, so I'm in the trade. Nothing to do about. I can't change that, or they'll break my rules. So I'm gonna push up my stop, I think. Well, with 9:30 open, I'll let it be. What's that, 6 minutes away? I don't know, maybe I already asked you this, Chris. Are you still trading today, or are you done? All right, running for my target. Take it. At this point, we're pushing high enough. I'll move up my stop loss. Funded. And Chris is done. He'll take an eval trade if it's his model. No time-based liquidity sweep like session or previous day, previous week. Funded if model time. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So if you see a nice sweep, but it's not time-based, you're doing eval only. Pretty smart. Little right front run my exits, as Master Friend says. Not be greedy, like Chris Postal says. Don't fight over a few ticks, like Chris Postal says. What do we got? 4 minutes to open. Let's go. Looking all right. I'd like for it to take this so I could move my stop up above to break even. At this point, this could be the Judas up. Could be the Judas before a slam down for a little bit more liquidity here on the side of the market. We'll see. But this is what I've been seeing a number of mornings lately. We had 8:30 unemployment claims. We have 10, 9:45. What is it, PMI? PMI is a pretty low impact event in terms of the red folders. Oh, come on. So that I wasn't wanting to really trade in the 9:30 to 9:45 zone. I was fine entering pre 9:30, but this would be more or less a no-go zone for me. I'd want to wait, even though the PMI is a low impact red folder, would typically want to wait for that to happen. We got SMTs on both sides of the market. Fair value gap here. Anticipating that's going to take it, so I can modify my order. Come on. Boop, boop. This is where Chris Postal says don't be greedy. Sure, I hear you. I hear you. I'll not be greedy. All right, one sold. All right, so I do think I'm gonna, well, let's take a look here. I think stop can go to break even. I might be pushing it by doing that. Because I could see it swing down and retest this accumulation zone and still rip higher, but hey. Yeah, so I guess the question more so is that breaking my rule? Said kind of like TP1 is early here. I said 75% of the way to my target, my TP2, I could break even. And I don't have it in my rule set. Does that mean I go break even after TP1's been hit or not? I'm not sure. Yeah, it's interesting. Like when I studied, it was super interesting. When, like you said, the data, Chris, when I studied my trades, a huge percentage of them, if I partialed, so this is a lot like Hydra trades where you partial at your first swing and then you move your stop loss to break even. But I noticed a large percentage of them, like 60+%, they would come back down, retest right about my entry, and then rip higher. Oh, 9:30 open. I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just going to move that there. Or I haven't decided what I'm doing, so I'm going to move that there. And so yeah, when I dug into the data, it said to not move my stop loss to break even after T. But I'm still struggling with that one a little bit. So obviously, all right. So that's I'm assuming that's going to be the low. although this candle hasn't closed. Beautiful, beautiful move. Is this being greedy is a question, I think. That target being greedy. So I'll front run it. And let's go. Oh. I don't think that's a greedy target, but we'll see. These equal highs right here. That's about as far down as I would want to see it, somewhere in this rejection block. I don't think, oh, look at that. Come for my stop. All right, well, partial. And then here, I'm curious to see, like I was saying, if I'd left my stop below this accumulation zone. Yeah, buddy, you go enjoy those steak and eggs, man. Get fueled up for the day. Look at that thing. So now, making the model bearishly. So there we go. Missed my take profit by, I think I tucked it to right in here. So a few ticks, which is unfortunate. But as I was kind of eyeballing these equal highs, wondering if that was about the extent of what it wanted to do. And that was right. Came into this BPR. And I was sitting there questioning if this was not conservative enough for the time that I wanted to be in the trade. I have no doubt that it's going to come for these. The question is, yeah, looks like I should have gone even more conservative and went after all this equal highs right up into here. So note to self, let's see what it's doing. So in this case here, had I left my stop loss below, it would have gotten my stop for a partial loss, and that would have made it a break-even trade. So this was an instance where actually keeping my stop loss up to break even maybe was a good thing. We'll see, because I could have also left it down here. That could have allowed for it to come for this liquidity, and it might just keep going back up. Either way, I'm just going to kind of wait and see. I'm not doing anything here until the news event has passed. Yeah, for sure. Chris is saying there's always going to be break-even what-ifs. 100%. So zooming out. There's this current 4-hour candle. And I've noticed that it's hard to trust this 4-hour candle 30 minutes to close. It can move so much in the open that what looks like a bearish candle can flip to a bullish candle. And so it's hard to trust. But at this moment, it looks like that the current 6 a.m. candle took the 10 a.m. candle's low, tapped into the fair value gap. That's actually IFVG, but a fair value gap. So I'm anticipating higher prices because of that. Here's this, so the 1 hour SIBI did not form. Price tapped into the rejection block, continued up, and this candle still has 30 minutes to go, so it can close very differently right now. On the 15, got 15's kind of ugly at this point. I feel like this candle here is starting to make it look not so good. Eight minutes till that candle closes. I'm surprised at this deep retracement here, unless it's going to potentially turn into a choppy morning. Maybe possible. We've had a few clean mornings in a row. That actually hasn't been the case. The last 2 weeks, the market has been quite choppy after open. So these equal lows were taken. There's relative equal lows right there. There's that inversion here. Got this inversion I'm looking at. And there is a tailless candle on the 4 hour way down there. That was my only concern for a bullish bias for the morning. Curious, like, is this short going to be the trade? And I always kind of look at it when I look back on the day and I study the day. I ask myself, what was the trade of the day? What was the best play I could have made? And so I think about that, and as I'm trading and wondering, like, oh man, and you can never know in hindsight, obviously, but being able to look at a day, figure out any patterns behind where the best trade of the day was. Like lately, I've been noticing the best trade of the day happened pre 9:30 or directly at 9:30 with the close of that 9:30 candle. So those are two patterns I've been noticing. Or PM session, and especially for a little while there, the AM was just trashing people last couple of weeks. And then the 2:30 macro was providing like the trade of the day. It was beautiful, clean, perfect, like a no-brainer to take. But I think the hardest part is being patient enough and discerning enough in real time. You know, like this one here. It was nice. It wasn't perfect. I think that if this had been more obviously a 1 minute breaker, that would have been a little more perfect. Still pretty nice. All right, so bearish delivery it is. Probably. So here's this, we have the 9:45 news. Was curious. I was looking over here. I got distracted. I was just curious if there was any levels that would have allowed me to short this. We have this 15-minute fair value gap, volume imbalance right there. Kind of a 1 hour rejection off of, oh, there's a SIBI up here. That SIBI. Way far away from that SIBI though. There's that SIBI, there's the bearish SMT. Against my bias. And I would count this tailless candle as a high probability liquidity target. But here, like, say I'd entered in here, what's, 145 ticks. Be $72 per micro. Curious to see how this plays out. Is this the Judas right here? Let's check out ES and YM, see what they're doing. We're bullish SMT forming on ES. YM is off in La La Land. Oh, interesting. So YM is consolidating, and what I've noticed typically is ES and YM tend to be the movers, and NQ tends to be the consolidator. And right now, YM is doing the consolidation. Ugly. YM. ES is correlated to NQ, so that's nice to see. This 9:30 open is lower time frame seek and destroy. These long wicks and tails here, it's not really wanting to move or distribute. These two candles were nice, but after that, kind of looking a little wicky. Kind of like what we've been seeing a lot in the morning in NQ, whether it's straight up seek and destroy or it's just a high resistance price action run and it doesn't really want to move. Anyway, I'm not in that, so it's all good. 3 minutes still news. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, 100%, Chris. Like the mental capital spent in price action like this is unbelievable. I had a trade like a couple weeks ago. Maybe it was 3 weeks ago now. I think it might have been the first week of this new funded account I started trading. It was the longest trade I'd ever been in from a scalping perspective. Of course, I held like swings in crypto a while back, but it was like I can't even remember. Was it a 2.5 hour long scalp? It fried my brain. And I didn't even sit there and watch it the whole time, you know? I would walk away and come back, and it was mind numbing. I think I ended up breaking. I don't remember if I broke even on that trade or if I won it. It was one or the other. I remember. I don't remember losing it because I would have been like a little bit of PTSD from that, if that were the case. All right, we got 2 minutes till open or news, but it's PMI, so PMI doesn't tend to be much of a mover. So here's kind of ugly. So this is, I don't know. Here's an inversion. Might be an inversion. Confirmed inversion. Here's a breaker. But in this case, there was no time-based liquidity taken. Some relative equal lows were taken. Still below midnight open. Still keeping below there. A 1 minute. Then. All right, so there we go. 9:45 PMI just landed, and maybe it's a little slow to do anything. Let's see. All right, starting to move a little bit. which means there's about 15 minutes left on this 1 hour candle and this 4 hour candle. The 5 and the 15 are kind of starting to look a little ugly. Got this consolidation on the 5, kind of started moving, then this compression candle. So yeah, it's kind of in this range right here. 15 wouldn't be so bad. It's kind of ugly, but this candle in particular here bugs me out. Stop hunting both sides. But it didn't take up in here. That leaves me feeling a little more on the bullish side. So back on the 1 minute chart, this candle closed above the breaker, confirming that local SMT, higher time frame SMT. I feel like, I don't know, I was considering re-entering on the trade. I don't know. So like this did not take time-based liquidity, but it's a continuation model. Possibly would have been a good thing to have done. That movement. So here my target originally was this tailless candle. That had been in the macro, it would have been not in macro. So 945. Too far outside of the macro, I probably wouldn't anyway. All right, let's see here. So seven, eight, nine, 949. So assuming the order flow is bullish, internal range liquidity will provide support for continuation. All right, 950 macro. That inverting, is it going to invert that fair value gap? And I'd be curious to wonder if the AM is going to start seeking destroying. I don't think it will. Flipped to 9:30 opening price, flipped the 12 a.m. But NQ can be nasty Nas, so who knows? Look at that, look at that. Confirmed that in makes me feel a little sketched out. If it doesn't like invert this inversion pretty quickly, I'm feeling like it's going to be a low probability session. Because I'm seeing inversions get inverted left and right. And it's when it's in these wider ranges like this, like maybe, you know, you can kind of scalp it, but and it won't just flat out stop you out. But that's not what I'm doing. So the current 1 hour candle has 7 minutes till it closes, 7 minutes till that 4 hour candle closes. Fair value, that's a BPR actually. Got this balanced price range right there. Just a little. Don't need all of this. Zoom out a little bit. 4 hour, even zoom out a little. So here we have all these relative equal highs. Those are a juicy target. It doesn't have to go from right now, but might. I guess looking here, we're in premium, so we're longing, and I'm longing in a premium right up here. There's all this liquidity down here. And it would make some sense to come down further into discount before taking. Doesn't have to. So here on the daily, previous day high was taken. Would typically indicate bearish delivery, but we have the equal highs above. We don't have any, I mean, not saying it can move throughout this candle. There's inefficiencies within this 1 day candle, but on the daily chart, we have any inefficiencies down until this level. It's it's moving on the 1 minute. Let's go back here. So yeah, look at this long idea. Didn't play out. Would have been probably stopped out. Here's another inversion right there. Going back to being zoomed out, the 4 hour, like I was saying, it looks nice. The only thing sketching me out is the tail of this candle down in here. On the 1 hour, different story on the 1 hour, because this is kind of looking a little more bearish to me. Good morning, Timmy. How's it going, man? Yeah, I saw your nice little your nice trade. You just got out of that nice short after the liquidity was swept. Oh, sweet. So did you just take this short up in here? Or wrong chart, but did you just take this short right here? I know you also took a long. I think you longed this, right? This down in here, if I'm looking correctly, and then you shorted that too. Anyways, 1 hour's kind of gotten me a little sketched out. The Sibi is definitely not wanting to flip. And then this reaction here on this 1 hour candle closing in 3 minutes, like it's going to probably, unless something changes drastically in the next few minutes, it's going to close relatively bearishly. Above the consequent encroachment of this wick, I can, kind of be slightly bullish, but it doesn't look good. This 1 hour inefficiency has been balanced out. But there's also a tailless candle down in here. There's a little volume imbalance right there, maybe. One tick volume imbalance. Then here on the 15, we're just kind of bouncing between these two new day opening gaps. Failed to invert this fair value gap on the 15 and just closed as a compression candle. So curious to see where this 1 hour and 4 hour candles close. Here on the 5, the 5 is just ugly. So let's kind of consider this up here, this inversion. Confirmation if bullish. And then going back to the 1 minute. One thing I was thinking that I'd really like would be a time-based liquidity target indicator, because I have a bunch of different, like this indicator is, previous day high and previous day low, those kind of things. I have another indicator that's, sessions, but it would be nice if we had an indicator that would do, the those two plus like 1 hour, 4 hour candles. And get it all into one indicator. That way I'm not having to draw I use the indicators to draw half the lines, and then the other time I'm drawing the line. So I want to zoom out here a little bit on this chart. Up real quick. What's going on? We have London low is taken, Asia high is still intact, SMTs on all sides, just going sideways around the midnight open, really. Kind of looking a little seek and destroy-esque, right? Like this high was taken, this low was taken, almost this high was taken. Looking like it wants for those lows. All right, this candle, what are we on, a 5-minute chart? So I always have to do the time conversion. The 9 o'clock candle closed as a compression candle. Slightly on the bullish side. slightly. And then on the 4-hour here, so it took liquidity and closed above consequent encroachment of that. So I'm still not ruling out bullish price delivery. This could be, the forming the wick of the 4-hour and the 1-hour currently. Much below this, and I would say that's incorrect. Still have all this trend line liquidity up in here, equal highs up in there. What is today? Thursday? So currently we have Monday high of the week. So at this point, we are just in a range for the entire week. At this point. I was anticipating like a Thursday high of the week kind of profile, but it could stay within this range, and then Friday could be that's the other profile of Friday being the high of the week, or low if it really wants to get wild. Okay, it's distributing down. That's interesting, coming down deep into this wick. All right, we're in macro. Can't see longs in this area anymore, nor can I see shorts. For me, I can see longs down in here somewhere even further. We are in a premium, that's for sure. That 15-minute candle took that one's liquidity, inverted that, tapped into the 1-hour SIBI. It just isn't any time-based liquidity. And all these equal highs above. This here would be a bearish breaker. Below that, there's an inversion in there. There. Not beautiful. Usually I like the inversion closer towards the breaker. Still in the opening range, so yeah. Haven't left this range yet. And this is what we were seeing a lot the last couple weeks. Opening range would get formed and it would chill within it for the whole AM session. And then lunch would typically distribute, and then we would get something. I think I'm going to shut it down because this is just going to probably wear me out looking at this price action. I do think it's pretty low probability. I do think it's possible it's going to be cleaner later today or this afternoon. I already got in one trade, not a full trade, so I still wouldn't mind if I got in another shot at something good, but I don't think I want to sit here and waste my mental capital on this price action here. I got a feeling the PM session is going to be a little cleaner, and I have a rule where I'm only trading one of the sessions. And in my head, if I only traded part of this session, that means I can sit down for an hour in the afternoon session. So anyways, friends, I appreciate you stopping by. Good work, y'all.